right, we're throwing it back here, not just to last week when this story broke. I'm talking about childhood. We're talking Dr. Seuss and the 6 books that will be no longer printed due to racist imagery. So, before going further in the story, make sure you take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So, I'm playing catch up, just doing content on stories that broke over the past few days that everybody chimed in on and people wanted my thoughts on it. So, the 6 books that were released, like I remember when this story first broke, I believe it was like a day or so prior to Dr. Seuss's birthday. And people were like, oh, wow, he's racist and cancel Dr. Seuss. And I'm like, I didn't follow the story because let's be real here. Over the past year or so, it feels like every single week, every single day for that matter, somebody or something is being canceled. Somebody or something is being boycotted. Somebody or something is offensive to somebody, and that leads to just people going against said thing or person. I don't have time to follow this stuff. So when Dr. Seuss was slated to be canceled, I'm like, I ain't trying to look into this. Just another form of nonsense. But I want to say the day after his birthday, when more noise started to come about, I'm like, okay, let me finally see what's going on. Racist imagery. Oh, wow. And here's the part that got me. When they said 6 books, I'm thinking, Lord, not the Cat in the Hat or the Grinch. It's like I read those books and seen those movies so many times. I didn't even notice. But when I finally saw what books they were, I'm just like, these are like the B or C tier Dr. Seuss books, or these are like the store brand versus Frosted Flakes. So, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, if I ran the zoo, McElligot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and the Cat's Quizzler. I'm like, what the hell are these books? The only book I remember actually reading as a kid was the Cat's Quizzler, because I remember it being on a shelf in 4th grade or 3rd grade, just on like a little shelf in the room. Actually, I think it was probably when I was younger, first grade, or 1st or 2nd grade, probably not 4th. But in any case, I know it was in those early elementary years. So I'm thinking, I thought it was like a Dr. Seuss book, again, that was like really prominent, like a Grinch or a Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham, or hell, I even do Fox and Socks. But no, it's actually these 6 books, 5 of which I just vaguely remember. So I was looking at the images, and I thought they were pretty, that wouldn't fly today. But apparently, there's other images of Dr. Seuss that he drew that really depicted people in a very negative, stereotypical kind of way. And what's my thoughts on this? Ridiculous. That's all I gotta say. A couple things, like, is it really necessary to take these books out of print? Like, is it more difficult to have those images removed or, kind of changed around, or, is it really worth getting these books removed? Not to mention, the hoopla about, I believe President Biden removed him from like the, like the National Readers List or something, basically like a list of authors and books that, kids should read. The president's list of books, I forgot the correct phrasing of that, but essentially it's like every year, there's a list of notable authors and books for, young and upcoming readers. And let me just say that not to make the comparison, but I'll do it. Growing up listening to R. Kelly, growing up learning to read through Dr. Seuss, it's like when they say cancel, boycott, it's kind of like, well, it's difficult to hit the off switch when those things are kind of ingrained in your being, if you will. Like, it's definitely a situation to separate the creator from the creation, kind of like Bill Cosby and his criminal activities compared to the goodness of A Different World, The Cosby Show, those kind of things that shaped a lot of people's lives and how they view the world. But it's just that I feel like, I feel like there are more people blowing the horn on how cancel culture needs to be stopped than there are cancel culture people. But at the same time, the cancellations just happen more and more each day. Like, I believe the week prior to Dr. Seuss, they were trying to remove the name Mr. Potato Head to just Potato Head, but apparently they decided not to change that. So then you get to a point where we have Dr. Seuss on the hit list, and I think, hell, I believe I saw a news story about Pepe Le Pew being canceled, like, him being removed from Space Jam 2. And I remember making a post about this last night. Yeah, I bet Johnny Bravo was the next character on the cartoon cancel list, because if you watch Johnny Bravo, which I love, man, I'm pretty. That entire show was him basically. That show would not fly nowadays. But I just feel like the reason cancel culture is so irrelevant is that they cry wolf so many times. And I'm not saying these images wouldn't be hurtful, but you got to look. Not to say this is an excuse, but this is honestly what has been said in various interviews and whatnot, and articles about certain things at that time. That's just the way things were. Like, you go back to a lot of the early comic books. Like, I remember I've watched a lot of documentaries about the early days of comic books, Marvel, DC. There were so many effed up depictions of blacks, Asians. If you weren't white, you were just depicted in the worst ways. Like, even if you go like to the early like origin stories of like Iron Man and Captain America, the way like Nazis and Asians and black people were depicted, that wouldn't fly. So as soon as I saw this story and the images of Dr. Seuss, I'm like, are they going to cancel like the early artists, like, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and a lot of other people during that time who wrote questionable depictions of races that weren't white? So if you cancel one, that's the thing. Another thing about the cancel culture, Me Too and whatnot, is like they pick and choose who they want to cancel, as opposed to looking at the whole spectrum. Okay, if we go after this guy for drugging women and having sex with them, or if you cancel this show because it depicts people in a certain way, do you go after everyone who's ever drugged a woman, or do you go after every show or movie or comic book or whatnot that depicted people in a negative fashion? Pick the battles. I mean, some people are speculating, man, they probably only did this in order to boost sales, because the number of books that, let me tell you, if I had any, and you all know, if you don't know, you should know, I have an eBay store. I've been selling stuff for 3 years. If I had any of the particular Dr. Seuss books that are being canceled, I would gladly post them to be sold, because the prices of these books are horrendous. Some of these books are selling for $900 or $2,000. I believe, like, some articles said that eBay and some other online selling sites will get to the point where they'll not allow the sale of certain items that depict racist stuff, which I feel is very ridiculous. And it's just another example of how there's a cracking of the whip, so to speak, on what can be sold or posted online. But I don't really care too much about it. I just feel like overall, this is ridiculous. I'm glad they're recognizing that these images shouldn't be shown to like children, for example, because if they look at a certain race of people being, shown or depicted a certain way in a children's book, then that's probably going to form how they look at certain people. But I do feel like a lot of these books were utilized to help educate a generations, because these are old books. So I don't think these books should be canceled per se, just kind of change the racist images, but that's just my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you have any of the books? I remember I'm thinking, damn, if I had like read the full story when it first broke around his birthday, I would have like went around to like the Goodwills in the town trying to find any sort of copies, because Goodwill is good for those kind of deals, and made me a huge profit. But let me know your 2 cents on this story. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. And yeah, PayPal, Cash App, I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon.